Hello, everyone. Welcome to Laveda TV. Remember, this is where we share topics about life issues, life matters. I share or I educate you about the spiritual matters. I give I give knowledge, or we sharpen each other on the matters of and issues of spirituality. So today I come with another different topic, but this topic people might be ignoring it, or maybe they might be acting out of lack of knowledge, but it's a very crucial issue. Is a very crucial topic that I want to talk about. And today I want to talk about a bed. And most of the time, in all ways, because you understand that things are spiritual. It is like you take things to be normal, but things are controlled in the spirit. So you find that maybe at one given point, your bed is something that is very sacred. And what happened around that place, you're supposed to really take care so that you cannot affect your life, because you understand that when you affect your life spiritually, and some of the habits or the things we do in our real life, maybe in one way or another, they affect our life without our knowledge. What do I mean by a bed as an altar? You understand that most of the time people will take this as if maybe your bed, you have your own bed, and maybe after a certain duration of time, when you want to change that bed, maybe you give it to your son or your daughter. And in that bed, or in the bed, or in the bedding that you are using, that's the reason as to why I always love to advise people avoid buying second hand beds, mattresses and blankets and all those things. And if at one given point you have to buy them, make sure that you cleanse them before you use them. Because at one given point, maybe I take maybe a father, maybe you are a father, or maybe at your age, maybe let's say I tackle a person of around 20 years or 20 something years. And maybe at one given point you buy a bed, and in that bed, or on that bed, there's some operation, maybe you used to bring your girlfriend, and whatever matters and whatever operation, whatever habits and whatever happens, it happens on that bed. So you are supposed to understand this is an altar that you have raised. At the same way, maybe this bed, maybe you were given by someone, and you never took time to follow up what happened on the very bed, but you just go ahead and use the bed and do your operations. And you understand that, but when people are of age, maybe they aspire or they connect or they mingle to get girlfriends and boyfriends, and they do their things on that bed. And when it is of time, maybe when it comes of your time to get married or to marry, then you find that you really need to change the beddings, and you ready to change your stuffs. And maybe in one way or another, maybe you give the very bed to your son or your daughter. And because they trust you, because you are their parents and what have you, you will keep on using this bed. Let's say that these people become of age, and also they get their girlfriends and whatever, and also and so forth and so forth. And then from there they decide that they are also using this bed. You find that at one given point, when they are using this thing, or when they use this bed, it becomes as an altar. Because whatever is happened, you see, a bed is a matrimonial altar. It is an altar based on your marriage. And that's the reason as to why people, when they are having marriage, you find that they are given a bed. This is as a sign as you need or you ought to start a new home. And this is the genesis of a new home and a pure home. Therefore, if at one given point, this bed that you are using, maybe you've given out to your friends. You see, there are some people, maybe when you are in the life or campus or in the college, they share beds with their friends, and then they come and do their stuff there. My big problem, it's not even about this or about what will happen with that bed, but my point is, after all these stuffs, after all this has happened, if you will come to use the very bed as a matrimonial bed, then you really need to understand there will be a big problem in this, because most people have based in their marriages in the background, or in a system that are prone to doors of the evil spirits. You're supposed to understand, whenever someone lie in your bed and they do their stuffs, they create a certain altarium, and these altars are prone to open certain doors in people's life. Therefore, if at one given point you've been using, or you're going to use, a bed that was meant or was used by someone else, and you never took time to follow up what happened, you never took time to navigate, to investigate what happened before that, and at one given point or the other, you never cleanse the very bed, then you might be going, or you must be in a very big problem, because when you use this as your matrimonial altar, then that's a reason, might be a reason as to why some of the things might be happening in your life. And so many people don't take these things seriously. Even when I'm talking, or when I'm just discussing this point here, some of you might not take me seriously, but I understand. It's good. At least I bring this topic, or I open your eyes so that you can understand. Or maybe you can be able to point out maybe where your errors are coming from. Because at this given point, maybe some people just got on, they started their marriage. Even some of the people, I'll come, we stay marriage, and you never took time to pray about the stuff that we are using there before. And maybe before you came to have this marriage, you had several other girlfriends that you laid with in the very bed. And maybe you might be going through a lot of maybe a tangle of wars in your marriage, and maybe you might be asking yourself, what's the problem? You are supposed to understand the grounds. Some things that we don't take seriously becomes altars of our lives, and it doesn't mean that an altar, you really need to do something so special for you to create an altar. Mostly, an altar is something that you carry within yourself. You must be calling an altar without your knowledge. You might be calling an altar without your ideology. An altar is something you build out of your habits. You can build an altar through the prayer line. You can also do an altar with your habits and the deeds on the life. In the life of your people, you can build an altar. But today, I want to really talk and concentrate on this bed as an altar in people's life, because I've been receiving so many complications, and so many people has been having issues in their marriage without them understanding. It is good always to understand the base of something. And sometimes something becomes as a point of contact for certain demonic activities and certain demonic affairs. And if you're not enlightened to deal with these situations on time, then you find that you are messing and you are submerging yourself into deeper and more complicated problems. Therefore, you are supposed to understand that a bed is a matrimonial altar. And if you have decided to get married, or you are marrying for the first time, then you need to purify, or you get something new. And before you go ahead and have your marriage, then you are supposed to cleanse whatever, or you are supposed to cleanse whatever you'll be using as a bed. Because whatever you are going to create, remember, a family is born out of that altar. The kind of the children you have are born out of the altar. and out of that bed. Therefore, you cannot go along messing with the very altar, because you are going to mess aloud with people's destinies, including your generation destinies. If you understand and you know, and from today, if I enlighten you, and you know that your bed have been used by more than one party, and this is a very bed that you are using even today as a marriage or a matrimonial bed, then you really need to do a thing and change. Maybe at one given point or the other, it might be a cause of your discomfort and a point of disagreement in your marriage, or it might be a source of some of the problem that you'll be having in your marriage, because so many people don't honor their matrimonial beds. You might just welcome everyone and do your things in whatever way you think, without knowing that there are going to be spiritual repercussions about this. I want you to take me seriously, because so many people has been going through issues without their knowledge, and so the Bible says that my people will perish because of lack of knowledge. It doesn't because you don't know, it does not mean that it doesn't exist. That what you don't know, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It exists. It's only that you've not taken the precautions, and you've not taken the seriousness of the matter. Therefore, if you come across this video, it is to enlighten you. You really need to do something. And from there, maybe some of the things that you've been going through might take another angle and take another new tune. Because some of the time, and most times, the things that are within us and the things that are boarding us or binding us are the things we don't know, but we take them at ease, and we take them as if they are not meant to be. Therefore, you are supposed to take at that level, understand, and ask yourself, the bed I'm using, the matrimonial bed I'm using, is it me and my wife that are only sharing, have only at all long term share this bed, of have I welcomed other sources or other matters to come and lay or use the very bed? Because you understand that when an altar, a matrimonial altar, becomes have more than one party, then you are going to raise problems. So many people, even some of you, have divorced, and they go ahead and using the very bed they were using with their partners. But you keep on having the very problems on the, not even divorcing, but also maybe having marriages, or maybe they have acquired these things from other people who has divorced. What will block that, the spirit of that divorce, from shifting from that home to your home? Because you understand that spirits have their tracks, they have their grounds, and they have their environments. Therefore, if what happened in the same marriage, in the first marriage, then you transfer the same problem, or you bring the same altar they were using on the first marriage, and then you transfer to you transfer even the same problems. And that's the reason as to why there is nothing that is going to block you from getting divorced or having marriage issues, as long as you are using the same altar that those people who got the same problem were using. Therefore, I want to enlighten you. If you are there, you want to stand and have an upright marriage. Today, I was talking I was basing this topic from and using bed as an altar. That's the reason as to why you find that when you are doing a holy marriage, a bed is given. In some cultures, a bed is given as a sign of just releasing you and allowing you to have a good start, and not an old bed. They bless you with a new bed and make sure that it's prayed for. What do you think is the reason as to why, or the reason behind people buying a bed for you? They know that in some custom, they know that this is is an altar, and whenever you defile that altar, it will always carry things, and things will carry to generations to generations. You might find it as simple as you find. Because someone who was using a bed in high university or in college or in his younger life, in one point maybe he have lied with several people in the very bed. And maybe if you're not lied with people, maybe you will come to someone who had the spirit in the very bed, and right now you want to use the very bed as your matrimonial bed. And at one given point or the other, you might find elapsing problems in your life, and you might start asking yourself what's the problem or where the problem is emanating from, without having understanding. I told you, if you don't know, it doesn't mean that that thing is not going to affect you. If you're there and you've been using a bed that was used by someone, or if you've been using a bed that you don't know their genesis, and this is a very bed you are using in your matrimonial system, you really need to go and do a prayer cleanse, first of all. And if you have an option of changing, it is good for the better. And maybe you've been experiencing problems after problems. Remember that demons will always brood. I told you that an altar is where divinity meets humanity. And if you develop or you create an altar for demons, that means whatever you'll be meeting with at that altar are demons. If you create a spiritual altar, that whatever means that whatever you'll be meeting with there are spiritual beings or are holy beings. But right now, you cannot go ahead and create an evil altar, and then after a certain duration of time, you will encounter problems after problems and after problems, and you keep on asking yourself where these problems are coming from. You really need to understand that there are some things that when you create a gate, they use the very gate to come and to get in your system. So many people have been going through this and you don't understand. And as I combine these, I also I want to enlighten you. Every time that you are vacating from one house to the other, even if it's a new house, make a point of praying, cleansing those houses, because you don't know what kind of an altar was grounded on the very ground on those houses you are vacating to. Sometimes it is rental houses. We just vacate or we just move to houses even without cleansing those houses, without knowing who were into those houses. And then you keep on having problem after problems. Some of the problems you keep on asking questions where they're coming from. And when you try to involve prayer in the very thing, you find that you're not getting solution, because you are coming to sit on the ground of evil spirits. You are the one who is meeting or who is connecting these things because of the ground you are standing on. Therefore, you really need to cleanse. It is called the sealings and cleansing of the houses, sealing and cleansing of the things you buy from. That's the reason as to why you're told before you use something that you've bought or you've gotten and it's a new thing, be it even plots, be it even lads, make sure that there is a cleansing of those things. Because before that, you don't know what was happening there. Before then, you don't know the kind of altar that were grounded in those systems or in those areas. What will block? Because demons uses legal rights. They're using legal gates. As long as there are legal gates and legal rights somewhere, that means you will not block the devil from reaching or getting into your system. Therefore, I know I've enlightened you today. I've enlightened you with something I told you. As long as I have that knowledge of wisdom inside me, then I need to reach out and make it known to as many people as possible, so that whenever you listen to this and you are taking ill of the thing, you will be in a point of understanding and making a base of this and change, so that maybe the problem you may be having in your life, you may change this thing. It is always very important. And as Christians, we are meant to enlighten each other so that we can be able to understand, or we can be able to fight demons in all angles. And if you don't know some of these things, then there is no way that you are going to fight these spirits. There is no way that you are going to conquer. Because in Corinthians 10 verses 4 says that for we don't fight the carnal battle. Yani we don't do the carnal war. Our war is in the spirit. And if you don't understand the physical matters, so for you to fight the spiritual war or the spiritual battle, then it means you're going to be defeated. Therefore, from today, if you are using a bed and you are using that bed as a matrimonial bed, and that bed was used by someone else without your conscience, and you don't understand or you don't note it, and you never cleanse the very bed, then you really need to take a point, have a prayer, cleanse those beds, and make sure as you move forward, you are doing this cleansing of the houses as you vacate, cleansing of the new staffs because you don't understand when you have a certain staff, you don't know how, you don't know the people or the industry where they were manufactured from, the kind of altars or the kind of gods they were using or they were serving, and you go ahead on using these stuffs without cleansing them, then it means that you have a passage or you have created a gate for evil spirit to come and or to be transferred in your system without your knowledge. And you'll be attacked. Sometimes when you try to fight, you will be attacked in one way or another without your knowledge, all with your knowledge. My people will perish because of lack of knowledge. And if you lack of knowledge, it doesn't mean that you'll not be attacked. Therefore, today I come to elevate you. I come to open up your eyes. Make a change of this. And I know in one given point or the other, you say, you sit and say, maybe I help you in this and that. Knowledge and wisdom is based on those people who have it. And there is no need when you have wisdom about certain issues and certain things, if you are not going to display the very wisdom to people. Maybe there are people who have never thought about this there before. You've never been enlightened and you have never heard someone talk about this. And maybe this is the first time that you have ever heard about it. And then, after you hear about it, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to change about this thing? Because if at all you are not going to do something about this, then it means that the problem will keep on recurring and recurring and recurring. At one given point, you will not be in a position or stand in a position to change this situation. Therefore, it's very wise. Always when you are using things and when you are using stuffs that you don't know the genesis, it is always good to conduct the prayer of cleansing. It is always conduct the prayer to disconnect the kind of maybe the spirit that moved with those products and those things, because demons will always find the contact point of some stuffs for them to affect and to disrupt your life. Therefore, I know I have enlightened you in one way or another. And I know in one way you've understood and you've gotten my base. And maybe by the knowledge you get out of this video, you will be able to change the things that have been happening. You are supposed to honor your matrimonial bed. And if you're there, you are married. And at one given point, you brought a partner in the very bed that you're using with your wife. It is a point to understand the problem, maybe the problems that you've been going through. Maybe they have been emulated from what you did, from the act, because there is no way that you can share or you can make an altar for one party, then you bring more than one party, and then you think that the things are going to augur well. The party you brought into the very matrimonial bed might be altering a certain issue in your family. And you are not supposed to understand and base these things, because it does not only affect you, but it can also affect their generation, your generation. You might breed something from that generation to the coming generation that you will not be able to put off. And maybe your generations will suffer to bring it down or pray about it. You understand that it is better to solve an issue when it is on the foundations or the grassroots, rather to wait for it, because some of the issues that we've been going through some of the issues that have been affecting our lives are issues that were meant or were generated from our foreparents long ago. And right now we are trying to solve them out. We are trying to emulate ways and get ways on ways we can be able to solve these things. And it have become so hard for us. Therefore, don't do something out of lack of knowledge that will bring a problem and will bring a complications in your generation. Remember that sometimes we keep on blaming our forefather because of the things they did. Maybe some of them were involved in witchcraft. Those witchcrafts have been affecting generations and generation, and you keep on having tough lives, you keep on having difficult lives in your lineage, and you keep on asking, where did this come from? I am not the genesis of this issue, but it keep on haunting my life. Therefore, we really need to get care and also be careful of the small matters that we go along and the normal day-to-day issues in our lives that we feel that they are not affecting things as the way we may think. They might have a long-term problem that will come to affect our generation. Therefore, if you are using or if you're having this bed as a matrimonial bed, and maybe in one way or another, you have used this one as your matrimonial bed, you really need to get a change of it. And if you are equal to the prayer, make sure you cleanse it up, so that maybe some of the problem maybe you've been encountering in your life, and maybe the problem you've been encountering in your family, maybe from your kids and the like, you may be able to solve them, and you may be able to put them off from that ground. And from today, don't use something of the second hard state unless you cleanse it, because you don't know the genesis. And sometimes you might ignore and you say, maybe it's my own stories, it's my own issues. But at one given point or one point in life, it will come to haunt you, because you don't know those people who have lied there before you. Some of the time you don't understand, because if someone comes and give you something or give you a bed, and maybe you were not with those people, you don't know the history of that bed. So whatever they have been doing, and whatever spirit that were made from the very bed or from the very altar, you'll be transferred to your systems, and at one given point they will disturb you. And it might take you time, or it might delay you from maybe solving a certain spiritual aspect. You understand? Even if or when you know things, it doesn't mean that you don't need to do what is expected for you to solve those issues or things. Therefore, it is good you understand on that base. And I know today's topic, I know it's going to enlighten as many people as possible. We as Laveda TV, we keep on bringing enlightening topics as the way we've been given wisdom from the realm of the spirits and how we understand them. And I know if it's your first time here, make sure that you leave a comment. Maybe you have something that you love me to tackle or you want me to discuss about. Make sure that you leave a comment down here. Allow me in the front line to answer you and also to comment about it. And I know today's topic have enlightened you in one way or another. And maybe you will have to change your tune, and maybe in future you will have to enlighten as many people as possible. Thank you and welcome for our Lavender TV fraternity, and keep on sharing our videos and also subscribe, so that as any time that we load our video here, you will be the number one people to see and to view. And I know in one way or another, from the videos that we have done here, you've been enlightened. Thank you and welcome, and God bless you.